Today we're making a very simple pesto dish that you probably have never tried before. Pesto alla Trapanese. This Sicilian pesto is a little bit different than that green Italian pesto, pesto alla Genovese, which most Italian restaurants will have on the menu. This one's a little bit different where it has fresh tomatoes, almonds, some people put parsley and mint in it. It's a very summery pesto, very, very fresh. I know you guys are gonna love it, so without further ado, let's get to cooking. So the first thing we have to do is peel the tomatoes. Now what I have here is some Roma tomatoes. You can use San Marzanos, any fresh tomatoes that you have. Some people use cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes, works fine for this. But since we're using the Roma ones, we're gonna go ahead and peel these. So what we actually have to do here, is we're gonna take your tomato and we're gonna make a little X in the bottom. This is gonna help us so we can peel it a little bit easier. So now that our water is boiling, we're just gonna go ahead and drop in our tomatoes. So it's been about a minute now. You can see the skins are starting to pull away from the tomato. We're going right into some ice water to stop the cooking process. It's not gonna take long. These are gonna cool down really fast. We're gonna shock them. You're gonna start to see that skin pull apart a little bit easier now. See, look how easy that comes off. Super easy. This way you don't have all those fibrous pieces in your pesto. Now we're gonna take the tomato and we're gonna go ahead and remove the seeds. We just want the flesh of the tomato. Just like that, set that to the side, just so our pesto isn't super watery. Now we're gonna move on to making the pesto. This is a very simple meal, guys, I'm telling you. So you could use a morto and pesto, which is traditional, but since 99% of people aren't gonna use that, we're gonna use a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you could probably use a blender, just be very careful with it. We're gonna start with about 1/4 cup of some slivered almonds, about 1/4 cup of some Parmesan cheese, and 2 garlic cloves. If you want to use less garlic, you can, but I like garlic, so we're gonna use 2 cloves. We're gonna pop this lid on, and we're just gonna pulse this just a little bit so that it breaks down the garlic and the cheese into the almonds. All right, let's check and make sure the garlic is actually blended up. Looks good. You always wanna start with the coarsest ingredients. Now we're gonna add about 1 cup of basil leaves, our 3 Roma tomatoes, some red chili flake to taste. I like about 1/4 teaspoon or so. A little bit of salt and black pepper. Now we're gonna start off with about, 1/4 cup of olive oil first. And we're probably gonna need a little bit more, but I like to start off slow with the olive oil. All right, we're gonna pulse this a couple of times. So this is how we're looking right now. I like the texture. I think we need just a little bit more olive oil. We need to thin this out just a little bit more. All right, so we're gonna add about another 2 tablespoons or so. And then we're gonna give us a pulse a couple more times. That's what we're looking for right there. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It's got some good texture to it. We're just gonna taste this again for some salt. We don't need lemon juice in here. If we were making a traditional pesto, I'd add a little bit of lemon, but the tomatoes have some nice acidity, so no lemon is needed. We're just gonna go ahead and set this aside while we boil our pasta. So I have about 6 quarts of water here that is boiling, and like all pasta, you gotta season your pasta water with a little bit of salt. So we're gonna go ahead and add maybe about 2 tablespoons. If you don't season your pasta water, your pasta's gonna be bland. Now we're gonna go ahead and drop in our spaghetti. This pasta should only take around 10 minutes or so to become al dente. So this is super important. Once the pasta is just about done, you want to reserve about 1 cup of pasta water just in case you need it. It's better to have it than not have it, or else you'll be sorry. All right, so we have our drained pasta here. Real simple. We're gonna go ahead and add our pesto right to the pasta, just like that. Make sure you scrape the sides, as my wife likes to say. We're gonna add just a little bit of our pasta water to start, just a little bit. And you'll start to see some of that Parmesan will start to melt. If it starts to look dry, just add a little bit more pasta water. And that's what I'm saying. If you don't reserve that pasta water, you're gonna be sorry. You're not gonna have enough sauce here. And that's really all it is to it. Just mix the pesto in with the pasta. Smelling amazing. Let's go ahead and serve this up. We're gonna add some of this pesto right to the bowl there. See, and I got smart. I saved some of the pesto, so we're gonna do a couple dollops just like that. A little bit of basil as garnish right on top. And there you have it. That's our beautiful Sicilian pesto. Let's go ahead and give it a try. We gotta hurry up because my wife wants to eat this pasta. You're gonna like this one. This is gonna be one of those recipes you're just gonna have to try. I'm having a hard time explaining to you how this is different than traditional pesto. The only thing I could think of is it's slightly less earthy than traditional pesto, maybe a little bit fresher if that makes sense. You still have nice Parmesan flavor, you have a little bit of a tomato flavor. The basil's not so much in the front, it's a little bit more in the background. The almonds have a nice texture to them. Also, if you don't like pine nuts, you're probably gonna like this recipe over a traditional pesto. You're just gonna have to give it a try. It's 100% worth making, it's delicious. I know you guys are gonna love it. If you enjoyed this video or you learned something, give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.